When do the Trump tax cuts expire? Have you ever wondered when the tax cuts from the Trump administration will come to an end? The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, passed in 2017, brought significant changes to the tax code. It aimed to lower taxes for individuals and businesses, but many of these changes are temporary. So, let's break down when these tax cuts will expire and what that means for you. Most individual tax cuts, including lower tax rates and a higher standard deduction, are set to expire at the end of the year 2025. This means that starting in 2026, many taxpayers could see their tax bills increase. For example, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 39.6% to 37%. If the law expires, it will revert back to the higher rate, impacting many households. The standard deduction nearly doubled under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. For single filers, it increased from $12,000 to $24,000. If the tax cuts expire, this higher deduction will end, which could push some filers to itemize their deductions instead. Another important aspect is the state and local tax deduction, which has a $10,000 cap. If the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires, this cap would be lifted, potentially benefiting those in high-tax states. However, Republicans argue that this could also reduce federal revenue. Business-related provisions have different expiration timelines. The reduced corporate tax rate of 21%, down from 35%, is crucial for many companies. If this provision expires, businesses could face higher tax rates, which might discourage investment. Republicans often frame the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act as a key part of their economic policy. They argue that allowing these cuts to expire would reverse the economic gains made since 2017. They believe that the tax cuts have driven wage growth and job creation, and expiration could lead to a $4 trillion tax increase over the next decade, primarily affecting middle-class families. The debate over extending these tax cuts is expected to heat up as we approach 2025. Republicans are advocating for making the individual provisions permanent to maintain economic momentum. They stress that the expiration of these tax cuts could lead to renewed complexity in the tax code, reversing the simplifications made by the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. In summary, the expiration timeline for the Trump tax cuts presents a significant challenge for the Republican Party. They view the preservation of these cuts as essential for sustaining economic growth and preventing what they see as harmful tax increases. As the deadline approaches, discussions about the future of these tax cuts will likely dominate tax policy conversations.